Two different eras of dance, two completely different reasons to step onto the floor. One crew dances for respect, the other dances to be seen. And now they're standing face to face in the semifinals. But here's the real question. Are we judging who danced better or who had something to say? This is CinemaVersus. You Got Served versus Step Up 2. Roll the intro. What's up, what's goody, and what's poppin'? And welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time being here, first of all, hey, Professor Ogilvy! Hello! My name is Top Cat. I am your YouTube personality, your reactionary goddess, and your cinema guru. Thank you so much for being here, because you could have been anywhere on Beyonce's Good Internet, but you're here with me, and I appreciate you for that. So, at any point in this video, if you just feel so inclined to, if you like what you see upon your black screen, you know, your black mirror, if you could just hit that subscribe button down there and join the family, because baby, we're friends now.
We're friends now.
Yes, we are in the semifinal round of March Madness, and today's matchup is one that I kind of saw coming, but nonetheless, let's do a quick little recap of how we started with 8 films, but only a few had what it takes to make it here. This is raw street level competition where reputation is everything. This is about more than dance. This is about identity, belonging, and expression. And now, these two worlds collide. Baby, this matchup right here, oh no. For some, it might be personal. Now, before we get into today's semifinal matchup, we have to actually take care of some order of business from last week to see which of these two movies, Bring It On or Stomp the Yard, has made it to the semifinal round. Now, after 7 whole days of voting, we have a winner. The movie that's moving forward is Stomp the Yard. They asked Bring It On, "Why you on our stage?" Them cheerleaders had to cheer on out the door. And so they will be meeting up against Save the Last Dance next week. I mean, if you ask me, both of those movies were classics, so... But now let's get into the real order of business, which is today's matchup. On one side, you have Marcus Houston, Omarion, Lil Fizz, J Boog, and Raz V. You Got Served, a film rooted in street dance culture where every battle is about reputation and every loss comes with consequences. This is a world where loyalty is everything and ego gets into the way. But on the other side, you have Step Up to the Streets, a story about identity, belonging, and building something of your own when the world tries to box you in. Where dance isn't just about competition, it's expression. It's basically a set war. So now the question becomes, what happens when raw street legacy meets intentional artistic evolution? Let's get into it. Now, because it's the semifinal round and we did a very good job of explaining what makes these movies great, instead of doing 5 rounds, this round we're just going to do 3. Round 1, the Sonic Soul. So, one thing about being in a dance movie is that you almost have to have a bumping soundtrack. We didn't talk about the music in the last rounds, but here, that soundtrack is center stage. This isn't where we're just looking into music, not just what sounds good, but what actually moves the moment. Now, with You Got Served, this soundtrack is clearly rooted in its time. And I'm gonna be real, this is basically a B2K-led vanity project. Because out of all of the albums, or out of all the songs on the album, I think B2K has 7. And then you have like Marcus Houston, Ryan, a Jhené Aiko song, But we're talking about the official soundtrack, not the songs that we hear throughout the movie, right? Because I could have sworn Drop was in the soundtrack. It's not there. So because we're looking strictly at the soundtrack of the official movie soundtrack, we do need to talk. A lot of the soundtrack is centered around their sound and their movement and their style and the moment that is B2K. Which is crazy because I think like not too long after this movie came out, they broke up, but neither here nor there. So if you were outside of the B2K era, this probably don't land with you. But if you were outside for that massive run that was B2K, baby, this is home. Because if you weren't, you might not even realize that this soundtrack even existed. But it doesn't necessarily give you standout records like beyond the movie. Their lead single was Bada Boom, which still hits to this day. You have Clubbin' by Marquise Houston. Up in the club, all in the drinks, and hold your hands up. But this album, this soundtrack, all in all, feels like you stepped into a real dance scene and not just a curated playlist. When it comes to Step Up 2, now this one came to play. This one had hit after hit after hit. You didn't even realize that some of these songs were even on the official soundtrack because these songs weren't just in a movie. These are songs that you still hear today. For example, Low by Flo Rida featuring T-Pain. Shake Your Pom Pom by Missy Elliott. Killer by Cherish. You have Chingaling by Missy Elliott again. Now again, we're only sticking to the songs that are on the original soundtrack. So unfortunately, The Way I Are, although a memorable moment in the scene in the movie, not on the soundtrack. But notice something about this various artists-led soundtrack. It feels like a playlist that still jams to this day. And what makes it even stronger is how the music is used. It's not just playing in the background. The choreography is built with the music. Every major dance moment feels intentional, like a full-on performance. So now it really comes down to this. Do you prefer something that feels raw, rooted, or something that feels polished, intentional? I'm not calling it. Don't look at me. Round 2, the mental bond. Because dancing is one thing, but being connected, that's something completely different. This round isn't just about who's the better crew, but the chemistry around the people in the crew. Why these people move the way that they do together. Now, You Got Served is not a perfect crew. They were at first. They were tight, succinct, unbeatable. Then Wade came through. Hey, ain't the dude behind Wade Chase and Step Up 2? But when things cracked, they cracked. And I think that's exactly the point. What we watched was a group that was built on loyalty, but tested by ego. Elgin and David aren't just dancing partners, they were brothers. And when that bond breaks, the entire crew fell apart with them. This isn't about a team that just stays strong the entire time. This is the team that had to rebuild itself after pride, jealousy, betrayal. And if we can be real, that's a very real dynamic. Friendships doesn't always break clean. Loyalty gets complicated. And sometimes the biggest threat to a group might just be the people inside of it. You Got Served isn't showing you a perfect bond. It's showing you a fragile one. It shows you what could happen if you don't reinforce your foundation. With Step Up 2, this is a completely different kind of connection. This isn't a crew that grew up together, but a crew that found each other. MSA is made up of people who didn't really quite fit anywhere. And instead of competing against each other, they built something together. And Andy's journey is right at the center of that. She's been moving between two worlds, her past with the 410, and her potential as a student and potential graduate of MSA. And when one rejects her, the other doesn't just accept her, they embrace her. But you think the 410 is going to be happy with Andy finding any form of peace? Hell no. So they threaten her livelihood, and the school kicks her out. But the crew never left her side. Where one crew is breaking under pressure, the other crew is growing because of it. This is what a chosen family looks like. Support, trust, and a space to be who you actually are. So MSA, the crew, isn't just a crew. It's a place to belong. So now we're looking at two very different kinds of connections. One that's built on history and loyalty and tested by ego, and one that's built on acceptance and growth and chosen to be family. And with that, the question does become, which one feels real for you? This is our last and final round. Round 3, purpose versus ego. This is the spiritual core. Because at some point, it stops being about how well you can dance, and it starts being about why you started dancing in the first place. So this round isn't about the choreography, it's about the motivation. Purpose versus the ego. Now with You Got Served, the driving force behind the story is reputation. These crews are not just dancing for fun. They're dancing for expression. They're dancing for a way of living. They're dancing to win, to prove something, to defend their name, to make sure that they don't get served. And when that becomes your foundation, everything starts to revolve around ego. Who's better? Who's well respected? Who runs the floor? And at the moment that their ego gets challenged, bruised, and lost, everything falls apart. David spent more time with Leah, leaving Elgin to get beat up. And then that's all she wrote. The friendships, the loyalty, the trust. Because the goal was not to grow, the goal was to win. And You Got Served is a movie purely driven by ego. Now, step up to The Streets. This movie moves a little differently. The driving force here is identity, finding a purpose. And Andy isn't just dancing to prove that she's the best. She's dancing to figure out where she belongs in a world that's trying to tell her who she should be versus who she actually is. And she's trying to decide that. She thought she found something in the 410. But with MSA, they're not just competing, they're creating a space where they can express themselves, to be seen, to exist without having to shrink. So when they step onto that floor, or if they're at a family barbecue, it's not just performance, it's freedom. And that's a very different kind of motivation. Step Up 2 isn't about proving something, it's about becoming something. So now we're looking at two completely different reasons to move. One rooted in pride, one rooted in purpose. One asks, can I prove that I am the best? And the other asks, can I be who I really am? And just like that, we've made it through this week's round of the semifinals. Two completely different engines, two completely different stories, two completely different motivations. But now, you already know what I'm about to say. It's not up to me. It's up to you to figure out who's going to be moving on to the finale. I need to know, which soundtrack would you rather play today? Which crew felt more real to you? And which story actually meant something to you? Because remember, yes, we love the dancing, but the purpose of the show is called what? CinemaVersus. So we're talking about the movie as a whole in its entirety. Because the next time that we see one of these two movies, we'll be in the finale. And baby, that's where we get the meat and the potatoes. So thank you so much for making it through to today's episode of CinemaVersus. As I've already say, and I always say, protect Black art, stream Black stories, And for the month of March, and as long as we're doing March Madness, celebrate movement. I'll see you in the next round. Thank you so much for making it this far into today's video. If you haven't done so yet, but you made it this far, baby, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hype me up, do something, because we're no longer just friends. I love you. And not just because you're watching my videos, but because you matter and you should keep shining.
Tú también deberías de creer en ti. Vales más de lo que pienso. Créeme.
I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. I said everything that I needed to say. You already know how I feel about these movies. So, till I see you next week. Bye!